Jonathan is still trapped inside the dark castle. But now the story shifts to new people and another hidden mystery. While Dracula is planning something terrifying, in London love, heartbreak, and danger begin to grow among people who know nothing about what is coming. 3 men gave their hearts to Lucy in a single day. But the real darkness has not yet begun. Part 2 takes us into a new world of friendship, romance, and the first signs of Dracula's coming tragedy. While Jonathan was trapped inside Dracula's castle, far away in London another story was beginning, one that would slowly become connected to the darkness of Count Dracula. This part of Dracula is very scary and mysterious. Jonathan Harker puts a crucifix above his bed because he hopes it will protect him from bad dreams and evil. He feels like a prisoner inside Dracula's castle. One night, Jonathan looks out the window and sees something shocking. Count Dracula crawls down the castle wall like a lizard, head first. Jonathan becomes terrified because he realizes Dracula is not a normal human. The next day, Jonathan explores the castle while Dracula is away. Most doors are locked, but he finally finds a beautiful old room where noble women once lived long ago. He decides to sleep there instead of returning to Dracula's dark rooms. Later that night, Jonathan sees 3 beautiful women appear in the moonlight. They are attractive but frightening. Their eyes shine strangely, and they have sharp white teeth. One blonde woman comes close to Jonathan and tries to bite his neck. Jonathan feels both fear and strange attraction at the same time. Suddenly Dracula appears in great anger. He grabs the woman and shouts, "This man belongs to me." Dracula tells the women they cannot touch Jonathan until he is finished with him. Then the women ask Dracula if they can have something else. Instead, Dracula points to a moving bag on the floor. Jonathan hears what sounds like a crying child inside the bag, which horrifies him. The women disappear into the moonlight and Jonathan faints from fear. Jonathan Harker wakes up in his own bed after the terrifying night with the 3 vampire women. He is not sure if it was a dream, but deep inside he knows it was real. He believes Count Dracula carried him back to his room. Jonathan becomes even more afraid. His room, once frightening, now feels safer than the room with the vampire women. Later, Jonathan returns to the mysterious room in daylight, but the door is locked from the inside. Now he is certain the women were real. Soon after, Dracula forces Jonathan to write 3 letters, one saying he will leave soon, one saying he already left the castle, one saying he safely arrived in another town. Jonathan realizes Dracula is planning his death and wants people to believe Jonathan left safely. Jonathan understands he may not live much longer. A group of gypsies called the Skaney arrive at the castle. Jonathan secretly writes letters to Mina and Mr. Hawkins asking for help. He throws the letters from the window, but Dracula catches the letters. He burns Mina's letter in front of Jonathan and locks him inside again. Jonathan slowly realizes he is completely trapped. Later, Jonathan discovers all his papers, money, travel notes, and clothes are missing. Dracula has taken everything that could help him escape. One night Jonathan sees Dracula wearing Jonathan's own clothes while climbing out of the castle wall like a lizard. Jonathan understands Dracula is trying to make people believe Jonathan is committing crimes. This terrifies Jonathan even more. Later that night, Jonathan sees the ghostly vampire women again forming from moonlight and floating dust. He runs away in fear. Then Jonathan hears a woman outside the castle crying, "Monster, give me my child." She begs Dracula to return her baby. Dracula answers by calling wolves. A pack of wolves rushes into the courtyard and kills the woman. Jonathan realizes the child is already dead. By morning, Jonathan decides he must act quickly. He notices Dracula is never seen during daytime. He believes Dracula sleeps during the day. Jonathan finally makes a desperate plan. He will climb down the castle wall himself and enter Dracula's room through the window, just like Dracula does. Even if he dies trying, Jonathan believes it is better than waiting helplessly in the castle. Jonathan Harker finally decides to risk his life. He climbs outside the castle wall and enters Dracula's room through the window, just like Dracula does. The climb is very dangerous, but Jonathan succeeds. Inside the room, he finds no sign of Dracula at first. The room is old, dusty, and almost empty. But in one corner he discovers a huge pile of ancient gold coins and old jewelry from many different countries. Jonathan continues exploring and finds a hidden passage leading down into a dark underground chapel that smells like fresh earth and death. There are many large wooden boxes filled with dirt. Then he makes a horrifying discovery. Count Dracula is lying inside one of the boxes. He looks dead, but not fully dead. His eyes are open, his skin is pale, and his lips are red like blood. Jonathan tries to find the castle key on Dracula's body, but fear overwhelms him and he runs away. Later, Dracula tells Jonathan that tomorrow they will separate. Jonathan knows Dracula is lying and planning something evil. Jonathan asks to leave immediately, but Dracula opens the castle door only enough to show the wolves waiting outside. Their glowing eyes and sharp teeth terrify Jonathan. Jonathan realizes Dracula wants him either trapped inside or dead outside. That night Jonathan hears Dracula speaking to the 3 vampire women. Tonight is mine. Tomorrow night is yours. Jonathan understands the women plan to kill him soon. The next morning Jonathan tries to escape again. He climbs back into Dracula's underground hiding place. This time Dracula looks different, younger, stronger, and covered with fresh blood after feeding on victims. Jonathan becomes furious when he realizes Dracula plans to travel to London and spread evil there. In desperation, Jonathan grabs a shovel and attacks Dracula's face. But Dracula suddenly opens his eyes, terrifying Jonathan. The attack fails. Soon the gypsies and workers arrive to move Dracula's boxes. Jonathan becomes trapped again inside the castle. Now he is completely alone with the 3 vampire women. Jonathan decides he would rather risk death climbing the castle walls than stay and become their victim. At the end, he says goodbye to Mina and prepares for one final desperate escape. This chapter changes from Jonathan's scary castle story to letters between Mina Murray and Lucy Westenra. Mina writes to Lucy. Mina says she has been very busy working as a school assistant. She misses Lucy and wants to spend time with her by the sea. Mina is practicing shorthand and typing because she wants to help Jonathan in the future after they marry. She says Jonathan is traveling in Transylvania and will return soon. Mina also teases Lucy about rumors of a tall, handsome man. Lucy talks about Arthur and Dr. Seward. Lucy replies to Mina and talks about 2 men she knows, Arthur Holmwood, handsome and rich, Dr. John Seward, a smart doctor who runs a mental hospital. Lucy says Dr. Seward studies people's minds and looks directly into people's eyes as if reading their thoughts. Then Lucy admits something important. She is in love with Arthur Holmwood. she feels shy and emotional while writing about him. 3 marriage proposals in one day. Lucy later writes another letter with shocking news. She received 3 marriage proposals in one day. Proposal 1, Dr. John Seward. Dr. Seward tells Lucy he loves her deeply and wants to marry her. He speaks honestly and respectfully. Lucy sadly refuses him because she already loves someone else. Even though rejected, Dr. Seward kindly says he will always remain her friend. Proposal 2, Quincy Morris. The second man is Quincy P. Morris, a cheerful American from Texas. He jokes and speaks warmly, but he truly loves Lucy. He asks her to marry him in a sweet and emotional way. Lucy again explains she loves another man. Quincy is sad, but noble and brave. He tells Lucy he still wants to be her friend. Before leaving, he asks for one kiss, and Lucy kisses him kindly. Proposal 3, Arthur Holmwood. Finally, Lucy hints that the third proposal came from Arthur Holmwood, the man she truly loves. She happily accepts him. Lucy says she feels extremely happy and grateful. Dr. Seward feels heartbroken after Lucy rejects him. To distract himself, he studies one of his strange patients, Renfield. Renfield is very strong, mentally unstable, obsessed with strange ideas. Dr. Seward thinks Renfield may become dangerous. This is important because Renfield later becomes deeply connected to Dracula. Quincy writes to Arthur and invites him and Dr. Seward to meet together. Even though all 3 men loved Lucy, they still remain friends. Arthur sends a telegram saying he will come. Love, friendship, and happiness fill the streets of London. But far away, Dracula has already begun his darkest plan. Stay tuned for part 3, and don't forget to support the channel.